Welcome to the Bushy Road Y Shores and Market update for January 16th, 2022. Had to slow down to make sure I said the year right. What we got first is Razor Sweelan, Morphonica, Extra Booster coming out this Friday. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. I cannot tell you how excited I am. This set overall, I don't imagine it's going to be the most bought, sought after of the year. Same time though, I think there's enough fans out there that it's going to be at least great for the people that collect this stuff, and that's going to be me. Can't wait to actually get it, open it up. Also, there is a trial deck that goes along with the Morphonica release anyways, and we have this SP for Mashiro. And then also with that is Poppin' Party Rosalia. They got an extra booster box as well. This should be really interesting to see just because of the purpose of this. It's not a standalone. It kind of goes in with the other sets as well. You need some cards from the other sets. And interesting for the fact of this lady here, we have Yukina. She is a highly usable card from the set, and at the same time, we know it's Yukina. We got a great voice actress that goes along with that, Aina Aiba. Watching the price on this will be interesting to see how it goes, the amount of supply that is out there for these extra boosters, and just over time what it's going to be like. Just because I'm going to be talking about extra boosters later, so we'll see how that one goes. Next up is Bro 2021. It is 2021, though it's happening in 2022. What's going on with this one is it was a lot of fun. I've been watching it. I thought the Twitch would have the video replay back up, but it didn't. Anyways, I was watching Yuri versus Simon yesterday. It's actually pretty cool to see. Uh, well, first off, Yuri versus Simon, that was a nail biter to the end, right? To the point where people didn't even know. I know there was some questions about like who actually even won in the end. That was a little interesting. I myself had my niece over and she put some video on and I was watching it up to the end and I turned my head. I talked to her for like 10 seconds and I turned back and the match was over. So I was one of those people that were like, what the heck happened that the game is over? But like right before then, it was pretty cool to see the gamble. I actually do love that part about Wise Wars. You know, like you can cancel out any damage that you're going to take. And I think Simon, there was like, I don't know what the math was. I forget how many cards he had. It seemed like it was like 25% chance to pull that climax card right at the end. And he canceled, which was pretty cool. Uh, it's one of those ones where people say this is luck and all that. It's percentages. It's how it happens. It's all about consistency versus, I think, luck. I do wish, if there was a wish for me when I watch these things, I really wish that it wasn't just out of a best of one. I know it would be longer in the end, but I always like the fact when I think about tournaments and card games, just to even it out that consistency kind of thing. I'd rather see a best of three. I think that would be really cool. But overall, it's been pretty well done. I think I I saw a lot of Ruby, which is pretty interesting. I remember turning it on. The first match I saw was Ruby versus Ruby, so it's really neat to see that people are using Ruby, and I wonder if it's throwing anybody off if they haven't really played against a lot of Ruby lately. I don't know, just because of how recent it came out. But overall, it's a pretty cool tournament. It's definitely been fun for me to watch, and the people that are commentating on it, you know, they're doing a really fine job as well. So overall, good tournament. We'll see what's to come. I know with Bro here, we have the Asia Oceanic. It's already happened. Best of three. We got Vince here as the winner. So congrats there. And then this was our Bro here. So this is going to be happening today. Should be happening today. I don't know what time. I didn't look up the time, but I will be watching. It'll be really cool to see. I think I made it my goal in my head. I was sitting there and I'm like, I think I'm going to enter for 2022, which probably is 2023 if this is how it goes. I think I'm gonna enter. I think it'd be fun. I'm gonna try it out. I mean, the worst that happens is I lose and that's it. But I actually want to do play it. After watching it, I'm like, I might enter. It might be cool. I think I don't want to say might. I'm like, I will enter. That way I can't tell myself anything different. I'm just gonna do it. Okay. Bushy Road Global Online Store. This is interesting. When I came out here, Bushy Road Global Online Store, I saw this. this notice for Ruby, and I also saw this for, where is it? Tokyo Revengers. Again, with these collaborations with these different anime, I think it's really cool that they try to cross sell. Cross sell. You don't just sell cards, we sell merchandise. And what we got here is acrylic stands. We got can badges. What else we got? There was like wanted posters. Tokyo Avengers, British Gangsters, acrylic key holder. And then there's like these wanted, I guess, acrylics posters, something. I don't know. And clear files. So you can see all this nice stuff out here for you. Is there a deadline? There should be a deadline. Pre-order deadline February 9th. If you like Tokyo Revengers, we have that there. Shipping begins late April 2022. This set comes out on May 13th. That is cutting it super close, if I would say so myself. Because if you wanted any of this stuff to go along with like your opening, it's gonna be close depending on the whole shipping issues lately. I wonder if it'll clear up by then. I mean, do you think really we're gonna still have these shipping issues in April? I hope not. I just really thinking about that. I feel like there's gonna be at least we're not gonna be back to normal. Maybe 50%. The next thing is these trial decks. So out here on the global online store, there is always in these trial decks. The thing that they don't do is sell booster boxes, and for RWBY, it says it right here, there's no supply sets that are actually going to be out on the store. What they are going to have out here is your trial decks, which kind of is an interesting situation. I've talked about this before, but let's revisit this. Out on the store, you can find trial decks, and what we have is Adventure Time Mob Psycho, Magia Record. What you want to like notice is some of these are not in English, and we have all of this stuff right here. These aren't in English, these are in Japanese. So we have some English out here. By the way, if you're looking for Adventure Time and you couldn't find it, or it's more expensive, just keep in time that Adventure Time is actually out here. $17. You do have to pay for shipping, but honestly, if you want a whole display of them, 6 of them unopened, sealed, here you are. I imagine they should be sealed, distinct as a display, and you will get it here. One of the nice parts about buying directly from Bushiroad Global Online Store, I always thought, was the fact that we know about trial deck mapping and all of that stuff. If you weren't able to pre-order it, now you're kind of subject to buying it from other people and potentially them figuring out, like if they pull the 2 SPs from a case, even though you're getting a sealed trial deck display, more than likely you're not getting another SP because they already got the 2. And with the global online store, I at the very least feel like you can trust that more than anybody else. I don't know, maybe they do something like that where they figure it out or open it or something. I highly doubt that, being that this is Bushiroad Global Online Store, but who knows? I feel like there's at least more confidence if you buy directly from the store versus actually just going to a random person on TCG Play or eBay. Not to freak anybody out, but that's just my thought on it. The other thought was going back to that is selling direct to customer. They don't sell the booster boxes and they don't sell the supply set, which is nice, but at the same time, this adds a little bit of competition. This didn't happen right at release. This happened on, let's take a look. What day was this RWBY thing? They wrote it at least as of January 12th. So that didn't happen on release. It's nice. It gave stores and people, sellers, all this stuff time to sell it. But now that it is actually out here on the store, they are in a way competing against people. You want to take a look here. This is TCG Player for the RWBY trial deck, and they're currently at $14.49, but it includes shipping. Where over here it is $17, but you have to still pay for shipping and any sort of taxes that go along with that. But you do have another option of getting a place where maybe you feel a little more confident that there's nothing happening, that people don't know what's already been pulled, and that is your option. It's one of those ones where, do you feel like the competition of Bushiroad is going to affect it in any way? And there's pluses and minuses to all of this. For people out here that are looking for a trustworthy option, that's probably one way to do it. I don't know really how I feel about it. I get all my stuff, so I don't really have to think about this much. I trust who I buy from, and I don't really have to worry about this. But for people that come in later to the game, having these trial decks is definitely a nice option, especially like Adventure Time. I point this out because I saw the prices at Adventure Time. They're not like sky high or anything like that, but to actually be able to go back in time and get a display for a decent price that you know more than likely has a shot at pulling something nice, or at least it's not been figured out, I think is really awesome. Okay, we have next up is erratas. Erratas. I'm just learning to live with them because it really doesn't matter. The majority of these erratas don't matter at all. There was a new one list updated January 12th. RWBY, just a missing, I don't know what you call this, this arrowy bracket thing. We have quintessential quintuplets missing these this wording here at the very end. I'm gonna assume that's Yotsuba. And that happened all across all. And I actually did read these the first time I saw this because everybody, all these cards count as Yotsuba. If this card is in stage, the card's name will also be regarded as Yotsuba. Yotsuba, Yotsuba. But this one, I didn't read this one. This card's name will not be regarded because in the anime, they all tried to look like the one sister because they were late for school. So that's why they're all wearing this headband or ribbon. It's not a headband, it's a ribbon, sorry. They're all wearing this ribbon and he attempts to do it and obviously he is figured out. So it's actually pretty cool. This is one of those things where flavor is pretty nice. That this card itself won't be because he didn't actually pull it off in the anime. So they're doing that. Anyways, that's it for the erratas. Nothing horrible, just misprints. And honestly, I don't think most people would have recognized this. Definitely not this. People would have more than likely not have really realized that one. And at the same time, this one, if you did realize it, it's whatever. It really doesn't do anything to the overall card. Okay, let's, oh, here we are. So what I started to do was I wanted to go back and think about the best sealed of 2021. There was a reason why, if you watched my 2 hour and some long video of the sets of 2021, that I didn't include Frozen Bond. The reason for me not including Frozen Bond was in my mind. I did mental math, which the mental math didn't work out here. And I thought Frozen Bond was the actual winner of the year. So right here, let me zoom in here. What we got here is the title of the actual set that came out, the product that it was, booster box, trial deck, extra booster, the date of release. I had to assume a price. Like, what could people get these at? So I put 63 per booster box, 18 per trial deck, and extra booster box. I know I got mine at like 29 from a store or something like that, but I put it at 30. So some of these numbers, I'm doing an estimate, kind of like average in between. I know some people might be like, well, you could get that lower, or maybe it was higher for me. These are the numbers I went with, and what we got. Supply set, I put 35. I feel like that might be high, but that's the number I went with. Irregardless, it wasn't one of these things in green. And this price right here, this number is $189.99. That is the price it currently sold for last on TCG Player, or at the very least, let me just bring up an example. I'm going to bring up an example. Sorry about this. It's going to take me just a second. I want to show you what I actually mean by that. That way we're all clear on what is actually happening here. Okay, here. So this is the booster box for Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia. That's a super long name. But what we have here is, you can see the current price, $189.99. It last sold for on December 29th, $200. So what I did here was, even though the last sold was $200, I went with $189.99 because This is fairly recently that it's sold for 200, but if there's one that's at 189.99, I'm going to use that as the price instead of this 200 number. If this 200 number was here and this appears at 205, 210, then I would use the 200. Get it? Kind of like the thing, right? When it comes to actual pricing and all of that stuff, you got to play some, you got to look at the number and pick out which ones makes the most sense. I didn't look at eBay, I didn't look at Macari, I didn't look at any other sites. I'm strictly using TCG players, so if you find it somewhere else out there, it's because I didn't look there. I just don't want to take all that time to do that. But strictly using TCG player prices and showing you what I just did, the methodology here, what I end up with as our number one sealed product of 2021 per buy percent is actually Data Live Trial Deck for 283%. Pretty nuts. And let's take a look at Data Live right here. Why is Data Live actually huge? So Data Live Trial Deck came out. There was a reprint for Data Live, and when that reprint happened, there was no reprint for the actual trial deck, which is okay normally, but when you have a card that is usable inside of a trial deck and there was so much demand and not a reprint happening, this is what had occurred. So here is Confrontation with Humans Toka, definitely usable. And if we take a look at the pricing of what's happened recently, there was a time period when this thing was, this is when TCG Player had histories up to only a certain point. So you can see here, 23.99. There was some people that came in, dropping the price down to 12, but now we're back to 19.99. I don't know if it had to do with Bro coming up or anything like that, or just supply dwindling down. But what we have here is, oh wow, look at this, 12. There's 12 and 15 bucks, $16. This point, $16. Again, I add in shipping when I do these things just because you have to pay shipping. And it's just easier that way, because when you have this guy 16 and this one's just straight up 16.47, I go with 16. Overall, this has held a decent amount of price because you just don't need one of these cards. You're gonna need a couple of these cards, and if you want to have multiple decks, you're gonna have multiple sets of these cards. Anyways, you get the point. This is gonna be a really important card. This pricing right here, when you add it into the trial deck, definitely makes it more expensive. What else is in this trial deck? Well, you have a potential pull in the SP. We got Confrontations with Humans Toka again, the parallel version, signed version of this card. This has not sold on TCG Player. I know it has sold elsewhere, but on TCG Player, people are pricing it pretty high. Actually, see, they did it again. I really hate this whole right here. See, you see 3 listings, 1,700. I open this up. It says $1,400.99 with a picture, and then there's actually 4 listings. Just reiterate, if you actually want a card, click in it. You never know what's inside of here. This card is possible, and then the other one, did I just close? Nope, here it is. Confrontation with Spirits Origami, 245, no sale, which is actually pretty amazing. Or just because this is a trial deck SP, that there's actually only 2 listings of it, and this guy has 2 of them. That there's actually 2 of them, because normally with trial deck SPs, they're pretty hard, and there's like almost a limit that it should be, like lower end limit. But origami, I could see it. Maybe it's just because it's origami. Toko priced way too high. Origami, I feel like it's too low, but I could say it's too low all day, but if no one's buying it at 200 something, then realistically 245 is what you're looking at. Maybe even lower. I don't think it should be. I just have this thought that trial deck SP should be higher. But in this case, you see, it is what it is. What else is in this trial deck? We got this triple rare, around $25. We got another triple rare, 19, and that would be it. Here we are. So overall, there is a whole lot of value when you look into the trial deck. And when you look at the overall displays, this is what I always find interesting. And I get it. Some people don't want to put out $400+, but there are trial decks right here, as you can see. Let's click in. recently sold as of December 29th, 23rd, 23rd. So these things still sell, and they sell for a pretty decent price. 60, let's go with $69 was recent sale here. I know this 89 kind of high, but if we go and just do the math, we got, let's go with 69 times 6, 414. Or if people were looking for SPs or triple rares or whatever, or just a collector's piece, this pricing here, pretty nice because it's in that seal display. At least you're guaranteed that one of six inside of there's going to be a triple rare more than likely. Maybe there's that chance for SP. Who knows? But overall, this was the set of the sealed of the year. And the nice part about this is when you think about it, the amount of money you had to pay out to get it. Date A Live was trial deck. I priced at 18. I know normally if you buy all like a display of 6, that's even discounted further if you do the math dividing over 6. Pretty nice. It's one of those ones where I like it. Trial deck is so cool because you're able to play with it, but at the same time there's like a little bit less investment when it comes to that. So overall it's pretty nice, and to actually sell these things pretty easy, ships easy, all of that good stuff. I would think that this is probably the thought where people try to buy a ton of trial decks and all of this stuff, but as we see here with Seven Deadly Sins, you can't just do that because Seven Deadly Sins got real messed up. Let me go with that. Trial deck, $18, currently $13 on TCG Player. So you are down 28% if you were to have bought the trial deck thinking that you can do things like that, or just overbuying or something like that. That's what's the scary part of what I see with a lot of trial decks, is that this overbuying. It worked in the past, and long term wise, I'm talking long term, it'll work. It'll be fine. Trial decks, booster boxes, as you can see here, over time they will be fine. But if you're one of those people that are short term, you're thinking you're just trying to get this and sell it, as you can see, it doesn't really work out that way. There's just too many and not enough people to actually absorb it. Now, ReZero. ReZero, like I said, I thought it was one of those ones that it was going to be 2021 sealed of the year. I was wrong when I finally punched it in here. This was 233% versus the 283 for the trial deck of Data Live. I went with $30. I've said that because of the the place I bought it. I don't know if it was like a discount for volume or whatever, but I did. I actually bought from a real store. So this isn't just like I bought it from uh, anywhere, online seller or something like that. My boxes came from an online seller at like $28. When it comes to Frozen Bond, what do we got here? Last sold for $99.99, and that's where this price comes. So $99.99. Even though this thing is 102, I didn't use the 102. I used $99.99. I have no clue if there was shipping on there, so it could have been more. It could have been less. Well, not less, but it could have been more. But I went with $99.99. And as you see here, there's not too many of these things. There's some out there. I mean, there more appeared because of that price increases recently. But overall, all this year, I haven't seen a whole lot of these things. They just got pretty much wiped out, and not a lot of people are paying attention to it. Then I started going like, okay, what's inside of this thing? Inside of this thing, we got double rares, and you can see they hold a decent amount of value when you take a look. So here is the parallel foil 1948 for Amelia. That's pretty nice, pretty nice. And I'm looking at this almost for the first time. Look at this thing. Can you imagine this? You got this double rare, and I'm looking on the outside. I should look on the inside actually. It's almost like a life perspective. I shouldn't look on the outside. I should look on the inside. What do we got on the inside? 99, 991 plus 78 shipping. What's this thing? 986. So there is a little bit up. At first I was like, wow, look at this. There's a 5 cent difference. 991 to 986. A little bit of a difference. And I've said where I rather have the parallel foil. I rather have the foily thing over the non-foily. So just thinking about this, it kind of seems like a deal that this parallel foil is really lower. Lower is what I want to go with. I'm gonna go with that. But even then, there's only so many of them. There's not a whole lot. It kind of just escalates from there if you were to buy these two. This 981 plus 78 and the 1073. So it pretty much goes off from there to 11s and then finally to the 13. Hey, so decent amount of, it's actually a decent amount of value in the double rare position. Not all of them. What is happening with this? What is this one? It always surprises me when I look at these prices because you would think there'd be like some kind of like ratio to them or something like that because here we have, this one up here, believe that time will come puck. And then you have like a drastic drop off. This one's like 92 cents, 588.92 on the surface, but let's see. So it's a little bit more with the shipping, but it's quite a difference. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. What else is inside of this box is, come on, puck, get out of the way. What we got here is the SPs. Overall, they do have a hefty price when you take a look at Ram, when you take a look at Amelia. I like Ram. I do like Ram. Oh, she is 188.90, and that is ReZero. Oh, last thing, bonus if you buy a case, you got these going first, going second cards. With these going first and going seconds, you had to buy the case. You got, I think, one pair of these Amelia, as you can see, 50 bucks. Pretty nuts. There's only one of them out there left on TCG Playways, and it's 53.49. Pretty pricey. Cool looking card. I think going first, going second, I wish they would show up here in English more often. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Last thing we got is Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia, blah, blah, blah. We got 202, pretty nice. This is start of January when this thing came out. More than likely, not a lot of people were paying attention to it. And I think that definitely reflected by how much is actually out there. You don't have a lot of supply when it comes to Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia. And it's reflected by how many people are selling these things. I just heard someone walking down, and I'm wondering where they are, kind of creeping around. What's inside this box is SP. We got SPs, and they're pretty much the decent ones are, I don't want to say decent ones, but the ones that are the more popular ones are already gone. We got Ishtar, one left. Mosh here, the SEC, gone. We have Areshka gone. It's been so long that this thing doesn't even have a price on it. Oh, actually, see, I did that again. You click in it, 1500. Areshka here. Does this thing say BGS Pristine 10? Let's see what that is. Just click on this picture. Oops. Apparently you can't click continue. You must click the actual picture. Here we go. 14.99 BGS 10. Centering. That is 9.5. Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah, you can easily see that. So centering, a little off. Anyway, as you can see, SP is really expensive when it comes to this set. And what else we got? SRs, the unspoken group of cards. SRs right here. You can see Ishtar. I'm just trying to make sure that to separate the trial deck. This right here is a trial deck one. These are booster boxes. So there is a fair amount of really, really nice SRs in there that are really expensive. And you got your triple rares too. So we got Final Battle with Mother, Areshka making an appearance, 18 bucks. Oh, a lot of value in these things. Will we see a reprint when it comes to Camelot coming out? I doubt it. More for the reasons of, the whole, can we get signatures on there? It'll be interesting to see. In my head, I want to see a reprint. More for the fact of how interesting it would be when it's handled with the actual signatures. Silvers, or you can't even get a signature for it and they have to replace it with stamps. That's more the reason why I can't imagine a reprint even being talked about, just for the fact that if they can't actually get the signatures, it would be messy. And I don't know how you do to rectify that. It's gonna look ugly. Okay, that is everything. I must be on my way now. Like I said, there is going to be some more videos coming up. You're going to have that Kuji. Realistically, the Kuji is just to show people what is actually out there in the anime world. May not be the video for you, but it's coming. We have Bang Dream opening coming. I can't wait for that when that comes. We got Morphonica, Razor Wheelan. We got Poppin' Party Brasilia. And lastly, this by now, you may not have made. I should have probably said this at the beginning of the video. It's too late now. I'm not going back. Well, there is going to be some D4 DJ coming up. And when I mean there's going to be some D4 DJ coming up, it's going to be like music videos. It has nothing to do with actual, let's say, investing or collecting. It's going to be a spree of videos, and it's going to be, you're going to see a music video. You're going to see opening videos with music in it, and you're also going to have me just talking about Rebirth for You. But I don't want to talk about Rebirth for You when it comes to like the investing collecting side until I do that music video and I open it. I don't want to talk about things that I haven't opened, and I'm going to make sure I get product and look at it, open it, come to my own conclusions to see if that sway my mind at all, and then I will make that video. So you're going to see some videos more than likely that you may or may not like, and just ignore them if you're not into D4 DJ or Rebirth for You. But this is one of those ones where I want to at least explore this because I like the anime and it's Bushy Road overall. And it, at the very least, we're gonna pull out some of what they do and see how that could be applied to Y Sports. Anyways, as always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside of your budget. Have a good day, everybody.